Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. It is a fantastic day. Hold on, and we'll have the camera on. I'm just gonna pull a quad here and send links to like 15 people and hope that somebody comes on. Live from somewhere on the Jersey Shore, it is I, Schmuel Buckman, on a Sunday afternoon. Fuck. Whoop. Not supposed to say that in the first 7 minutes, but my watch fell off. I've apparently gone to the Ray DeVito School of Podcasting, and I'm always late. So I got to kind of make this quick because I don't want to interfere with my friend and yours, Derek Quadfather, BYB dude. So what's going on? It's a Sunday. What's happening? So our friend, my friend and yours, Mr. Eckel Pineapple, has been really helping me out lately, and hopefully I will get better at stuff. There we go. Let's go back. I'll get better at stuff and playing these things. So I was last night watching hey, you help me as much as he does, I'll ball wash you too. Where were you this morning? You know, I can't, my Sundays are whoa, ski-doski. My Sundays are incomplete without the Aussie guy and Blind Mike. I did get Blind Mike. I didn't get all of it. Busy morning, and I have been neglecting Mrs. Buckman. So I've been spending the weekend with her, and that's part of why we're late. But all good. Yes, thank you, OJ. Thank you for letting us have Blind Mike. And PSP, I've been looking for you because I hear that you're the guy that can help me with my audio because apparently it sucks. I've listened back a few times, and sometimes it sounds okay, and sometimes I sound like I'm from a submarine, and other times I sound like I'm in a giant warehouse. So that's the deal. And we're gonna change my camera setting here because I am. Oh no, it's on full definition. I thought I had it on 780p. I'm really good at I'm just really good at complaining. No, but I've heard you're the guy to talk to, so I'm serious, and I don't really have. I'm gonna wipe the camera because maybe that's the problem. Yeah, it's better. I don't really have. No, I don't have a soul, but I also don't mind criticism and compliments. Criticism, I don't mind as long as it works towards what we're doing. So, hey now, Leo, what's going on? I was listening to Dabble Pint this afternoon, and there was a Joey clip, and they talk about Joey coming on and then waiting for his audience to come. But apparently Joey just plays nasty shit over and over again, or boring stuff, trying to get an audience, which means when you tune in, you shut down. So I got to at least talk. I have no idea who Johnny Payton number 8 is, but hi, Johnny Payton number 8. And Dave has family stuff. He is probably going to come on, but it was either do this now or not do it at all. It's possible I could come back later tonight, but who knows? Luckily, I don't have super chats or super tips, so no one can accuse me of grifting. And speaking of grifting, I guess our boy KB is gone for a week. So I was going to do a stream last night at 10 o'clock. I sent Carlos Danger not the link, but I sent him early in the day asking if he'd like to come on. And Carlos said no, that he was wedded to doing Liam's show last night. And I thought, well, if Liam's doing a show, probably not the greatest idea for. I wasn't going to do a show at the same time, and I was going to do one later, but you get old. I had a serious case of meatball eyes last night, and even the expensive stuff wouldn't take the red out, so we didn't do that. And so we didn't do a show. So for the first few minutes, I got stuff I want to talk about. I think I listed it, but we wanted to talk about Felicia. I wanted to talk about Sarra. I want to talk about no podcast, whatever it is, nice podcast, stupid, and a little bit about Blind Mike, but we'll get there. And everyone gassing Ray up for Saturday night was jokes. So now I figured Liam would pull a bunch from Cumia, from Brennan, and he really didn't. Johnny, I know you're into it, but I haven't seen it. I'm sure they're hilarious, but the ones that I've seen, they're just too fucking long. And I know Ray. So what happens is they're stretching a bunch of unrelated things together, and that's what's creating. It doesn't really do much for me. I don't know how else to explain it, and so that's the deal. Okay, I'm so sorry. Who's the 225? It's quick, only 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to get my my life back on that. And this pussy, I sent him a link, but no, I have no voice. Every week it's the excuses. It's like Carlos and the sorcerer. Oh, the kid is sick. The kid is sick. And do you do solo shows just to keep all the super chats for yourself and not pay a guest? It would be a thought, but don't have super chats. And I've never paid a guest. And who was that? I guess back in the day, right? Mir and Musk were paying people like $500 to come on and do interviews, thinking that would get them some heat. And all they wound up doing was paying $500 and getting, I don't know, 40, 50 people. Yeah, not a great strategy, but I guess they're back together. I don't really know. I really don't know what they're up to. So I don't really pay much attention to them. It's like I didn't even know Chow was doing shows. And I'm a terrible Dabbleverse correspondent because I watch what I watch. And if it's not clipped, chances are I'm not going to see it. And it's like Levy. I don't think I've seen a Levy show in weeks. It's just not there for me. So I'll spend 5 minutes or 10 talking about Ray, but we do have to get off because BYB is on, and Sarah's only requirement with me was that I didn't conflict with them. But I got a few thoughts on that. Levy's live right now with Cumia. Wow. Why did I say that? Now everybody's going to go over there. I'm an idiot. Cool. It does get to be a bit of a circle jerk, though, right? It's the same people on the same shows all the time. But look, I like Bob Levy. I think Bob Levy's a funny guy. I just don't think that he's sorry. I just don't think that he's a good first mic. But I don't, but I don't think I am either. So that's the deal. But I'm not asking you to pay me. This circle jerk is giving me rub burn. Once when I was a kid, I was rubbing the outside of a young lady's pair of jeans. And later on that evening, my finger hurt. And when I looked at it, I had a blister. I must have been really rubbing more than I thought. Or they were really thick jeans. So, but let's so we'll talk about Ray for a few minutes. We all know Ray's, I'm a friend with Ray. I don't talk shit about Ray. And I have to say, the thing that I find most fascinating about Ray, like watching last night, I would almost pay, speaking of paying money, I would almost pay a Liam show where he didn't have to talk about Ray. Because that's like, without that, he's got no content. And last night, and I know I see some of the names here that I was watching the show today that they're up there. And they were talking about the women that were on Ray's show and how despicable Ray is to them, and reading the super chats and all that stuff. And I am very honored, Peter, that you would say that. Very funny. I don't know. Like this guy, like they all love to hate him. They all, he's adult. He's this, he's that. They can't do a show without talking about him. Anyway, last night so they were talking about the women thing. And I think you cats are a little hard on Ray with the women. These women have agency, right? They know what they're doing. They're comedians. And if you think the stuff they're taking from you super chatters is tough, you should see the shit that they get in the clubs. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of them that are like in the lefty Williamsburg thing where, nobody says anything negative and doesn't want to mess up your zen or your karma. But it kind of blows me away that we're all so sensitive. I mean, look, if women want to come into this thing, they're going to have to take it like the men do. And they're all really good. Wow. I don't know. The door closed and Mrs. Buckman is outside talking.
I said if you want to play with the big dogs, you got to be able to lift your leg.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So Ray's 100% soft on women and your women. Look, I've seen Ray in action with women, and his action is not the way my action would have been. But now I'm an old man, so all I do is tell them they look great and walk away, because there's nothing creepier than a 60-something-year-old man trying to hit on a young woman, as evidenced by the Stuttering John tapes. So I'm going to turn off the cam for a sec, because you don't want to see this. I got to blow my nose. I'm as classy as Stuttering John. The only thing I could get was a roll of toilet paper. All right. Let's talk about this. Sorry about that, guys. Sapiens, I'll get to you. So Liam's critique of Ray's show is that he's lazy and does it for money. Well, he does a show with lazy in the title. I thought the show last night was lazy. And I don't know. It's like it's not terribly insightful. Liam is a very good comic. I don't want to take that away from him. He really is, and he's a very good writer. His comedy stuff is good, um, but he's got a smugness about him that annoys the shit out of me. You know, it's one thing to, you can shit on other comedians, the Rays and Tom Myers and all this stuff, but your situation isn't much better than theirs, if it even is. And attacking people for making money, that is weak. That means you don't have anything. And I often think that it's a lot of jealousy. That's why. But Ray is like 53. You talk about him like he's 17. No, I don't. And I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about Ray. Ray is actually a good-looking guy, and women seem to be attracted to him. I'm just talking about Ray's attitude towards them. He's very not standoffish, cautious. You know how like some guys can be like overly enthusiastic to broads, like, you're lucky to have me, and they get all cocky and shit. Ray's just all the way at the other end of the spectrum. So yeah, there I said it, spectrum. And he's just all the way on the other end of the spectrum with it. He doesn't I don't know, man. He totally doesn't follow through. And I don't know that he knows when chicks are hitting on him or when they're just trying to be his friend. That's the part that I do not know. So but it is what it is. I have heard Obnoxious John say though that you go to comedy clubs with Ray and he's like a pussy magnet. That they there we go. Sorry. That like he comes off stage and the chicks are all around him. So I don't know whether OJ was doing it or not, but I think he was trying to get a little collateral action. But we'll see. Liam was good on Rock Bottom, but Ray doesn't like to be challenged. Liam was okay, but he gets he gets a bit cunty from me. And I don't know. I don't know. I think he's just a virgin and it's traumatizing. Yeah, I don't think he's a virgin, but I think for all the confidence he has on stage, he probably doesn't have it in the bedroom. I 100% think it's jealousy. Yeah, I do too. Every time Liam goes on, he gets shit on because he's fat. You're fat, you're fat, you're fat. You look like shit, blah, blah, blah. And, everybody, Ray, you're good looking. And Ray's problem isn't that he doesn't work, but that he works too much and doesn't get enough pay. And Ray's shows pull decent numbers. I mean, I don't know what decent is. I'm not really obviously not in this for the money. I only got into this because of my relationship with Dave Sarra, who talked me into doing it. And then 100 people subscribe to a channel, and they're all insane, but I'll keep doing it. So we'll say the Joe List bump. The Joe List bump gets Ray pussy. Yeah, man. I think that goes. Look, that travels down. It's like in New York, the Joe List bump will get it for you, and in Ohio, the Ray DeVito will get it for you. And Liam wishes he was. Oh, okay, I guess I'm going to do this professionally, semi-professionally. Mint Diggity, who I met in Atlantic City, very good-looking guy. We have to say that first of all, and also a really nice guy. And I don't know if it's his girlfriend or his wife, but Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And Cookie got to talk to her, and they got along well. And Cookie was telling me how nice she is. In any event, yes, Liam's lazy. He wishes he could just click go live and get paid for it. He doesn't respect him as a comic. Well, he doesn't respect Ray as a comic. That's for damn sure. Um, but I think it's more than that. I think Liam would love to dive in to the Dabbleverse. I think he would be thrilled to be doing a podcast, shitting on Ray, shitting on other people, all that stuff. But I think he's also like that sort of left coast Libby that he's afraid he's going to say something that's going to turn him off to the big shots. And I keep getting that feeling like it's more important for him to have his relationships to know the right people than it is for him to do what he wants on air. But look, that's just my opinion. Um, I don't know, and uh, yeah, all right, Sapiens, and I think I've had whatever before, but I'll read it. Ray has massive anxiety, and he developed a habit of lying to cope with it. I don't think he is malicious yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he's either a virgin or I'm going to just imagine he is. Oh, severe. I get it. ED issues. You said sever. I was thinking of John Wayne Bobbitt. That just he never faces. Yeah, I disagree. I disagree. I just think that he thinks too much about it. Like most guys, this is like I don't know. I'm saying most guys, and I don't know because I'm an old guy and I've been married to the same woman for almost 15 years. But you know, I remember being alive, and the most that I thought of when I met a woman in a bar or any place was the next 10 minutes, and it was getting to the next 10 minutes, getting to the next 10 minutes, and eventually winning her over. I never really thought about what was going to happen much the next day or the next week until that time came. So, um, I don't know. I just think he's different. I think that um, he meets people and women particularly, and he just like in his mind is racing. Like, what am I going to do later? What am I going to do tomorrow? And I'll tell you, I never worried about what I was going to talk about after sex. And usually the things I talked about after sex made sure that I never had sex again with the same person. But there you go. So, all right. It is 5:10. Uh, I'll give the chat 2 more minutes to ask a Ray question. I don't want to be a Ray show. I like Ray. I think Ray is a good guy. I don't think, this one here, habit of lying. I don't think that Ray lies. I think his interpretation of events is different than mine, but I can see why he would be frustrated. So I get it. I get it. But, I like Ray. Ray's a decent comic too, as much as we hate to say that. But in any event, Peter Sky. Liam was really good to Ray in the beginning. I tried getting Liam to troll Ray, and he refused to do it, even sent back a few of my troll requests on Venmos. Yeah, Liam liked trolling Ray on Ray's show, but I'll tell you when Liam lost me. Liam lost me when Ray was doing the Hackamania thing, and Liam, what's the word you kids use? Simped for a KB when he said that Ray worked for Kevin, and if Kevin doesn't want him to do Hackamania, then he shouldn't do Hackamania. And where's my camera? And Yeah, that's true, because if I remember correctly, Ray was the one that brought Liam into the universe, right? He's the one that hooked him up with Kevin, which I think most of the people that Kevin seems to know have come from Ray. I think Chad was a Ray find. But sorry guys, do the gross stuttering John thing. Water in my ear. So yeah, I don't know. But so last night I'm watching Liam's show, and what blew me away is Christian Blatt said, yeah, this is a great time. You know, you should do this like 7 o'clock on Saturday night. And Liam was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I have to check with Kevin. And make sure that it's okay. And when do comedians like, that's like, you know, I get the club owner thing, right? Like I get like, all right, I go into a small city and, you know, this guy's paying me and he doesn't want me to be at the other club for a week or two. That's fine. But I don't know, man. I don't get that Liam pays as much money, gets paid as much. Oh yeah, that's right. Carlos, you are correct. Liam was a friend of Carl's. I completely forgot about that. And yeah, yep, you're right. And I also believe that Will Heron was also a friend of Carl's before we got to know who he is. But I didn't get like, I don't get this thing of like having to check with other people. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be an idiot and go on opposite somebody else that's your same audience. But checking with someone, getting their approval first, I don't know. But in any event, and Kevin and we've been duped by some rando. Oh, I had no idea Kevin was going live. I don't really follow Kevin that much. And this guy and I like to argue about Ray. So anyway, Carlos is a good guy. And all right, I'm going to do this and we're going to stop talking about Ray. MG, welcome to the Rayverse. Also, Oliver Monica asked if you could unblock. Thank you for using my chat as a communication place. And I don't know. I did see Leo Gunn in here earlier, but he might have left. And Ray's pretty cool. So listen, I have been listening to a lot of bullshit about the Felicia Gillespie accident, and I just wanted to review it. So part of the deal of being an old man is you learn things, and since you learn things, you want to share them with people, which is why old men always tell you what to do. But we're gonna whoa shit. Sorry.
The turn, bitch. The turn.
So this is Doom's clip of the accident. I want to talk about Felicia after more than that, but I don't want to interrupt it because we all like to see the crash.
What's up, honkies? They can't kill me. There it is. Now, it wasn't like this when it was, it wasn't this bad when it was on the street. Which I have a video of. They did this. I mean, this is all ripped off in the towing of it. But it was still bad. I have the video from the street. But this is from where I hit the concrete median.
Oh, that was funny too.
that splits the highways. So, this is what you motherfuckers, I shouldn't say motherfuckers. This is what you people.
I apologize. The way I have this downloaded, I can't speed it up. I was going to do it at 1.25, but I can't.
This is why you shouldn't judge something before you know what the fuck happened. I was hit right here. Here's the impact. I was maintaining my lane, as you can even see in the video by following the painted lines on the highway. I did not rear end anybody. Somebody hit me, and it was insane. And I had 2 witnesses. The guy who was in the car behind me saw it. And there was a guy who was to the right of me, I believe like 2 lanes over, who saw it. So both of those people stopped and were witnesses for me, and they gave their eyewitness account to the police officer, saying that they saw a silver pickup truck hit me on the side of the car and run me. Kept going.
I don't have a lot of patience.
One of the witnesses was actually a guy driving a van. So there was a whole van full of people who witnessed this, including the driver of that van, plus the guy who was behind me. So, no, I didn't hit anybody. Somebody hit me. I didn't rear end anybody. Literally nobody else was hurt. And literally no other cars were hurt or damaged except for whoever hit me. And they kept going. So, there you go. I don't know if you can see. Both of these airbags went off. This window's busted out right here. So, and then this window's good, but that airbag went off. And then my steering wheel airbag went off right there. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if, the sun is weird and stuff. So, I don't know if you can see what kind of an impact. Like how
Speed it
deep
up,
the
Felicia.
impact is
Speed it
there.
up.
Trying to get it. That's probably a good shot of it.
So that's the passenger side
So that's
door,
where
correct?
I was smacked on the highway. Going about 65 or 70 miles per hour. And then that mirror, I think that mirror was still there when it was on the street. This tire flattened. But like I said, this is where I hit the median. So I hit the median almost straight on when the person rammed me into it. And yeah, you can't really see much more of it because this is all one piece right here.
All right, none of this really matters.
So this but yeah, these headlights were hanging out, and then there are actually cameras on the highway. I actually found footage of this morning. I found footage. Well, I found a preview of footage that I would normally have to pay $250 to get the video of, but I believe that the police will be able to get that footage for me. So it's very blurry because it's a traffic camera. So, oh boy, that's no good. Yeah, so yeah, it's a traffic camera, so you're not going to see a license plate, but you should be able to see what happened. But it's also at night, so you can see like all the headlights are just a blur.
Got it.
Yeah, this is completely smashed in right here. Is that a side swipe? Is that what that's called? In my glove box, but just a little bit. Just jammed that way.
And the
That's our boy Doom clip. It is so. Here's the deal, man. A lot of people are talking a lot of stuff, and I laugh because everybody in this universe acts like they're an expert on everything. And when the steel toe stuff comes up, everybody's a legal scholar, and when the Felicia stuff comes up, everybody's an insurance scholar, and fault and all this other stuff. All right, you ready? Here's how this works if you're ever in a car accident. There are essentially two kinds of insurance in the United States. Third-party liability, which is usually what the state requires, that doesn't cover you. It covers the people that you hit, whether it's a car or a person. In New York State, the minimum liability limits are $25,000, $50,000. So they'll pay anyone up to $25,000, and all the people in the accident $50,000, and there's $10,000 of property damage. That would be other cars, fences, trees, telephone poles, all that shit, right? That's third-party liability. What the other part of the policy, people call it full coverage. It's just separated between comprehensive and collision. And comprehensive covers the stuff like if your car gets stolen or vandalized, and collision is collision. So if a tree falls on your car, it's comprehensive. If you drive into the tree, it's collision. Very simple stuff. So the real question for Felicia is, which kind of coverage did she have? If she has full coverage, nothing really matters. It doesn't matter whether it's her fault or not her fault. Our insurance company is going to pay. They're going to fix her car or total it and give her the value of it. And it doesn't matter whether she rear-ended somebody or they rear-ended her. That's just the way it is. If she just has third-party liability, she's got to find somebody else at fault. Insurance company's not going to help her. So the car that she drove into, which I think is the most likely thing that happened, would have to be at fault. But if you get hit and run and you never find the guy, you're never getting that money. And so that's the deal. And that's what we don't know the answer to. But all this, obsessing about the video and saying it just doesn't matter. You've either got one of those two things. And so everybody's got all of these, thoughts on it. It's actually pretty simple. Yeah, she could be sued. Somebody else could claim injury. There's all sorts of things that could happen. But the most likely thing to happen in this accident is she gets a bill for the towing. She gets a bill for the median if she did any damage to it. And full coverage insurance, collision would pay for it. And if you just have liability, you get the bill and you never pay for it. The proper you would get, I guess, if you hit the median, light pole, things like that, that would be covered under property damage. So the state or the city would get that. And as far as this towing thing goes, frankly, I don't think it's going to matter because I got to tell you, I don't know any tow places anymore that tow your car without taking pictures of it first. And they're pretty goddamn efficient at towing cars. So I'm going to assume, and I think we all should, that any damage caused to her car by towing was incidental and you're not going to be able to sue the tow company. But hey, look, I may not know what the fuck I'm talking about. And, maybe she'll get millions. But it just looked to me like in that accident, I thought she sent her eyes right, hit the car next to her, then overcorrected and hit the median and spun out. But what do I know? I wasn't there. But as far as all this other stuff, I think it's just all extraneous, and I don't think it's going to matter. So, and this would be one of those things where if I had the right insurance, I just let them deal with it. And if I didn't, I'd figure out how I can start a GoFundMe to get a new car, because that's probably where we're going to wind up with this. And I don't know anything about her car. And I was right. I was reading A. Thompson's free chat, and my car just crashed like magic. Yeah. So I have a stream up. So the next day I actually put out a post after this, and I said, it's not the streaming, it was the interaction with the chat that caused the accident. And the next day, I set up to do a stream from my car, and it might be 10 or 15 minutes on the New Jersey Turnpike, going, 70 miles an hour. And I nearly got myself killed, and probably the people around me. So that after the first 10 minutes or so, I just pulled off the side of the road and finished the chat from there. But because I'm so insistent on proving my point, I actually set up my car today with a cam, and it will I'll be able to stream, but I won't be able to see a screen. So I have no idea how that's going to work, but I thought it might be fun. And I have a friend who will call you on FaceTime, and he's got his iPhone on the dash, and it faces out. So it's like you're looking at the road. And to me, there's nothing more nausea inducing than that. So that's my feelings on the Felicia accident. But again, man, I'm like, I don't know how old she is. She's got to be in her mid 40s. And like, this is the life. Like, I don't get it. And and it's also, I want to talk about Cumia a little bit. Hang on, kids. Just wanted to pull this up. I was on, right. So PSP, my feeling is that the side damage is on, it looks like the side damage is on the passenger side, and then the front is totally damaged. So I've got the feeling that she turned, looked in the thing, car drifted that way, hit the car in the next lane, and then she was screamed and overcorrected. And they've been talking about plane accidents this week, and that's one of the big issues with pilots who aren't experienced, is they tend to overcorrect. All right. This is supposed to be a really long comment, but I will put it up because it's from PSP. Live stream. Oh, okay. Felicia's live streams fluctuate between Rugula mode and mirror mode, so it's hard to tell what's going on exactly. But the impact on the driver's side, but her follow-up video shows the passenger side. Yeah, I just said that I think the initial impact was on the passenger side, right? Driving this way, going that way. Turn, car next to you. You hit the car, it's in your blind spot. You hit the car, you freak out, go back the other way. You're in the left lane, and boom, you hit the median, and your car spins around, and the whole front gets all destroyed. And then the damage, actually, because you spun, when you finish, your damage actually winds up on the passenger side as well, because that's where you hit the median. But that was way too long of an explanation. And Felicia's not that interesting. So I was on Nice Podcast Stupid on Thursday, and we'll get to something else I wanted to talk about with him. But I guess it was the real Anthony Cumia came on. But I don't know. I didn't think it was at the time. And there's actually let's just say, I should have looked this up. I think it's a Doom clip or Stallion. And they came up. Anthony came on, and it was Tukey had it on as well. And I thought it was pretty funny because Dan was telling Cumia what he should have done. That Ant had too quickly made a rash decision in moving to South Carolina, and He hurt himself by doing that because he could have done Gutfeld. He could do Fox News. He could do other things. And this is all in light of Anthony's news that he's going to be back on ABC. And I think, this is, bear with me, guys. This is Schmuel thought. This is the deal that I think people do with Ray, and I think they do it with other people, which is where we assign what we would do to other people. It's not right. It's not my life. It's not my choice. I think Anthony's done everything and more than anybody, and I think that's what makes Anthony so crazy and fun, is that he's accomplished everything he wants. So he doesn't care, and not caring is to really be the greatest place in the world. So let's take a quick look at this Doom clip.
So Cumia went on with Saul. Was it
Sid Rosenberg.
Sid Rosenberg, WBAB or whatever in New York.
WABC.
WBAC. Okay, close. WBAB. That was Opie, right, in Rochester.
That was Long Island. That was
Long Island.
WBAB was based out of Babylon, New York.
Are you actually nervous that you was going to win?
Yes.
Is that why you moved to South Carolina?
Yeah. I bought a bunker, weapons. I'm living in a missile silo.
It wouldn't surprise me. How do you end up in South Carolina, honestly?
You make a left in Virginia.
How did he end up in South Carolina, Deb? We talked about this. What do you think?
Because he wanted a conservative area. He wanted to have his guns, and New York is very strict with guns, and New York is liberal. New York was going down the shitter with the administration in New York City. We're having like kind of a flashback, not as bad, but kind of a throwback to the 70s and 80s, where New York was an absolute dump with junkies on the street and homeless everywhere, crime. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as, the old Bronx is burning days, but it's pretty bad. And he wanted to get out of there, add also the legal immigrants in the hotels and all that stuff. So he wanted to go to a conservative paradise where he could, maybe get ATVs, have a lot of land, and shoot guns in the backyard, burn trash in the fire pit, whatever the fuck he wants to do. So he picked it. I don't know how he picked Greenville. It is a great place. I have a friend that had moved there probably about the same time as him and says Greenville is awesome. It has been inviting me to go down there. So I hope I go down there, and I hope I can run into Missy and Anthony. I'll buy them some drinks or something.
Is this a fake Cumia in the chat?
No, I think it's actually the real Cumia. The fake Cumia is the Anthony Cumia that sends $2 supers to KB.
So this is the real Anthony is gracing us with his presence. I'd find that hard to believe, but maybe just maybe.
Well,
So since Cumia's in the chat, if he's still here, I once again, I'm not going to go off on Anthony, and frankly, I'm a big fan. I go way back. I'm not going to kiss his ass, but obviously, I was an Opie and Anthony fan. That's where I come from. What I will say about the South Carolina thing, Anthony, if you're listening, I think that was a little bit of an impulsive move by you, maybe. Maybe you didn't quite think it out. You maybe went down to visit, your lovely sister Donnie. Maybe you went down and you said, wow, South Carolina is really cool. It's there's some really cool cities like Greenville and other places. I love South Carolina. It's a great location. It's nice and warm.
Wonderful. I love
no
it.
tax, and you can have guns and everything. But
And there's no Gino.
You get away from Gino.
Yet.
But I think if hindsight,
PSP.
if we're doing a hindsight, you probably might have been better off staying closer to the tri-state area. Maybe go out into the, Westchester or someplace, maybe downsize on your house a little bit. And then you could still have all these opportunities. Fox News, you could probably do something with that. Go on the Gutfeld show. Maybe you could do a radio program, maybe make your own hours. It's a little harder to work remotely down in South Carolina. Out of North Carolina, New York. I get it. New York is a cesspool now, and there's crime. I mean, anybody that's been to New York City, it's a 1 hour, 30-minute flight. Yeah, but you had that heart attack, dude. Like it's hard to travel when you're. By the way, Quad or Doom or whoever's the fake Anthony, like you're not pulling it over.
This is the point where, Dan, Dan was saying all these things to Cumia, and I guess he realized or thought, well, this isn't the real Cumia, and he got caught with his pants down a little bit.
Overrun me. That's great. Now you can do the fake that we're getting hacked, and you can do that video next, or that comment next. But if it was Anthony, thank you for joining. If it's
No,
not,
I think
it's
it
Quad
was.
Father.
I think it was, and it's a pleasure.
Quad and Doom do this shit all the
Oh,
time.
do they?
Like this
What-
is they're
you know
they're,
what?
they're trying to pull a
I'm gonna-
fast one on me.
You know
Look
what?
at Doom. It's the real one. I looked. Yeah, Doom. Sure it is, buddy. I love you, Doom, but it's not the real Anthony. Which is if it was, that's
Look, that's actually not the point. I thought it was funny, and Anthony's a weird guy, and it's just possible, right? I mean, it's just possible, but that wasn't the point. The point is, who are we to be telling Anthony Cumia where he should live and what he should do? And I also think that people come up with a lot more reasons for why people do stuff than reality. It just seems to me Greenville's a great place to live. It meets with Anthony's political stuff. He went there, land was cheap. He built his own place, and it's hot in the summer. And the one thing about Cumia is he loves the heat. So I don't know, man. I just feel like we spend way too much time thinking about people's motives, but we also spend way too much time thinking that people would or should act the way we think they should or would act. And that's just not. I think as you get older in life, you just sort of realize, that keeping up with the Joneses sort of attitude that you have about other people, a lot of these people, like guys like me, we don't give a fuck, It's like, we're just going to live our lives. And what you want me to do, I'm probably not going to do. So I'm going to switch over to something else, and I'm going to try to finish. So I will put this up. So, and you cats can help me if I don't do it right. Whoa, share screen. Da 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 da. So this, and I didn't know about this until after I was on the show the other night, and if I had known about it, I would have brought it up. But I am really, really, really tired of this shit. So let's play it, and hopefully, let me just do this and do this and do this.
guy, just a regular guy with a microphone. So, but I also am not obsessed with Stuttering John. I don't spend 3 hours a day. I mean, we could talk if you want to do the Shuli show. I'm saving the Shuli show for a special day. We're gonna have plenty of time to talk about Shuli. Shuli new, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. Hashtag Shuli new.
This is the part that makes me absolutely fucking nuts.
This ISO guy. I mean, we could talk about that. I mean, if you guys want to talk about Shuli new, we could go. We could spend a lot of time on that because, as we all know, Shuli Yeagar knew that his producer had 6,000 pictures of child porn.
We didn't know that, but okay.
That he was arrested for, and he kept that secret for many, many months. And we could talk about that.
And why wouldn't he?
I don't know. Tonight's the right night to do that. But we know definitively that Shuli knew about that.
We don't know that definitively.
And he hid that so that he could have people go to his DabbleCon. He purposely, so if you are following the timeline, DabbleCon was actually the day before the sentencing or the hearing or whatever with ISO. So
wouldn't have made a difference to anybody there.
They purposely, Carl and Shuli, knew about ISO, and they made sure to not say anything until they had their DabbleCon 2 And then the day after, all the news broke. So use your imagination. I don't think that Shuli just found out the day after DabbleCon. I think that's a little bit of a reach.
I think in the first part, he says we definitively knew, and then he just said, I think we knew. So I also don't think it's big, but we'll get to that in a second.
So hashtag Shuli knew. Shuli knew. Did Shuli know? Yes, Shuli knew. Shuli, if you're watching, you knew. And we know you knew, and we'll talk about it plenty of times. Shuli knew, Shuli knew, Shuli knew. So that's a whole nother story. Shuli, we love you. Good luck. Good luck finding a new topic to talk about now that Starting John's not around. So we're gonna really follow you very closely now and see what's up with you, buddy. But that's a whole nother story. Felicia Gillespie, guy, just a regular guy with a microphone. So
all right. Now I like Dan. I listen to him. I think his $2 super chats are funny. But this stuff just pisses me off. And I'm not ball washing for Shuli. I don't really care. But what really, really, really gets me is ESO had 6,000 images of CP on his computer. It's horrendous. It's horrific. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Right? Any of these words you could use to describe it. But we're minimizing that to own Shuli. And in this one, I think he said Carl as well. You know, it is unbelievable what stuff we will do to own somebody else. And you know, it becomes like, you know, for a time it was almost like CP became a joke in the Dabbleverse. And now every single person that somebody disagrees with is an ESO, is this, it's that. I don't know, man. You know, some things need to be treated with the reverence with which they deserve. And this is one of them, right? But let's just talk about actualities, right? So we don't know that Shuli knew. We don't know that Carl knew. And even if we did know that they knew, it does not make a difference, right? Like, what were they supposed to do? And everybody's, you know, a fucking commenter and a hindsight viewer. But what would you have done in that situation? I don't know what I would have done. But I know they certainly didn't hide it because of DabbleCon too. Because if they had, right, and if they had known, and if what we're being told by these people is true, then Shuli knew about it for a year. So why would it be such an issue, you know, a few days before sentencing, right? Like, so that means it just doesn't, I don't know, man. I'd have to suspend a lot of shit to buy that these guys knew. And I have to suspend a lot of knowing Carl and Shuli, not well, but just from meeting them and stuff, to believe that they would be able to pull off something like this. And from one of the things that I understood about all this is that almost all these people knew of him as Isodo, not his full name. And so I don't know, you know, I don't think it would have remarked. And then, you know, you have you know, you've got Vince and Muttering John and these guys who seek to own Shuli and Carl, and they didn't know. So I got to believe that Shuli knew, but they didn't know, because I don't believe that Shuli knows anything that they don't know. But that's entirely different. So then would that mean that Vince and the other guy kept it quiet for a year or two? Was Iso the mole? But none of this. The reality is it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If you've ever known a person who's done something that's really horrible, that's a friend, you don't talk about it. And part of this is that, let's say that even if you did, what's the value in saying anything? Right? Iso had a wife and kids. All you're going to do is, the more you talk about it, the more it's going to affect the wife and the kids. I grew up with a mom who was an alcoholic, and like, people knew about it, and I was treated and bullied and shit in school because of that. Could you imagine if people knew your dad was busted with CP? I mean, why would you do that? Like, why would you say anything? I mean, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have said anything. So that's me. So my points in this are, I really, really despise using something this hideous to try to own some other dabbler. It's just wrong. I don't know how else to put it. It minimizes the crime, and it's a really serious. It's a very fucking serious thing, and there's a lot of people out there that are nuts later in life because of shit like that. So, I don't. That's crazy. It's crazy to me that you would trivialize it so much. And secondly, whether or not they knew about it, look, if somebody knew about it before, that's one thing. But I'm pretty much 100% sure nobody did, based particularly the way that the story reads. And so when they found out about it, just doesn't matter. And third and lastly, this thing about, them protecting Davalcantu, it wouldn't have made a difference. The place was sold out, right? The money from these guys was all in the video and the attendees. The tickets were sold. The club wouldn't have been able to charge $17 for drinks if people hadn't been there, but it certainly wasn't going to cancel. And probably 5 people wouldn't have shown. I'm sure more people would have shown, just trying to find out what was happening, what was going to be said. So it's just crazy. So I'll go through a couple of your stuff here. Sapiens, true. Also, I don't understand why they would claim to only know on the day of sentencing. If that were true, just leave it out of your public statement. Why would they claim to only know? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I mean, there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of speculation that can go on, but I just feel like that was the time that somebody was going to say things, and why would anyone know what's on his computer? Well, exactly. But it doesn't matter, right? In a Dabbleverse, it just doesn't matter. We're just slinging shit and hoping some of it sticks. So, and this isn't really, I'm not really defending Shuli. That's not what this is about. I just don't think whether he knew or didn't know is important. And the use of it to own him, I think, is shitty and typical. Shuli fake crying was worth it, though. Look, I'm not going to judge him on that. This has never happened to me. I've never had that thing. But I do know that, yeah, man, if I were a parent of young kids and this had happened and this guy had been around my kids and I just found something out, I would be totally freaked. And my first instinct would be, how did I miss it? What did I do wrong? So I'm going to give Shuli a pass on that. But yeah, I just, the Brennan and other people using it to try to own Shuli and to make it funny. I don't know. Some things, it's just one of those things, right? That I don't know. I'm not about, I think there's a million things you can trash Shuli about. I just don't think this is one of them. So that's it. I have one more thing I wanted to do, right? So we talked about my friend Felicia. We talked about Cumia. I think Sarah's on like almost 30 days of being clean. So I want to congratulate him. Nice podcast, stupid. I'm going to ball wash for Blind Mike, but I'm going to do that at the end. So this may really bore the shit out of you guys. But this is the stuff when I am interested in shit. One of the things that I am fascinated by are fake preachers and fake healing. And I hope I got the right one. And we'll start it. So I'm going to talk about this guy, Todd White. I'd like to do more stuff on him, but I'm not really capable of doing it. So I'm just going to throw it out there. And if anybody is interested in it, take it, run with it. If you guys remember, I don't know if you remember Peter Popov, but Peter Popov was the guy who, one of these preachers, prosperity guys and healing guys and whatnot, who you would come into his service and he would be, oh, Affy, is there someone here named Affy? And Affy, I'm feeling you have an earache in your right ear and you've had it for years. And, then you would supposedly be healed, brought up and healed. And Popov was the guy that the Amazing Randy exposed, that Popov was using and his wife had a transmitter. He had an earpiece. And before the services, when you were waiting in line, he'd have people in line who would be talking to you, and they would be writing little note cards. And then they would take the note cards in the back and they would figure out who would be the best person to bring up. Well, Todd White has been into this thing, which has been the biggest scam in preacherdom forever. And it's leg lengthening. And I just, this will be quick, but I just like to get it out there because aside from accusing people of having friends with CP, this is really, really annoying to me.
So last night, I come into the hotel and going to check in, and I got there, and this wonderful girl named Erin was there. I don't know if she's here. Erin, are you here? Where are you at? Okay. Yeah. So when I came to the desk and I started to, she said, "Are you with the group?" I go, "What group is it?" And she said, "Together." I go, "Yep, that's the one." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know that Jesus loves you?" She goes, "Thank you."
I have to be kind of careful with these because they strike a lot.
And I go, "Hey, you have a problem with your back right now, don't you?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, I have a leg. My leg has been short. They diagnosed it when I was 12, but it's been since I was born. I said, "Get out." I said, "Come here." I said, "How short is it?" She says, "Well, like over 1.5 inches." I said, "This will be fun." So I took her over to the chair and I sat her down, and I held her legs out. Sure enough, it's almost 2 inches short. It's a big gap. And I said, "Ready?" She goes, "For what?" See, she's not in faith for this.
In faith. Yeah.
To happen. I carry Jesus. I carry the Holy Spirit. I need to be the one. These signs will follow them that believe, not these signs will follow them being prayed for. Okay, so I just prayed for her and her leg came right out. She goes,
These guys' fake dreads annoy me anyway.
And she started shaking, and I said, stand up. She goes, oh my God, my knees are the same. Oh my God. I said, he's my God. I said, look. I started to share Jesus with her. And she's like, this is what she said. So precious. She goes, I've been waiting for you my whole life.
Thank God there's not little 6-year-old children with terminal cancer that we're going to give old Aaron here even legs.
And I know
And it's going to come through Todd.
that it's not me she's been waiting for. It's Jesus. Watch. Now listen. How many other Christians do you think have come in front of her, though? This isn't just for a special person. This is for sons and daughters of a king. So I shared with her, and I started sharing with her about Jesus.
If you were one of these guys, wouldn't the first place you'd be go to the hospital?
And how much he loves her. And then she got born again. And then her friend Josh was there. He worked there. And I said, hey, Josh, I said, you have problems with your right knee? He goes, I do. He goes, what's going on? She goes, I'm telling you, I am trembling right now. Like, this is crazy stuff. And I looked at Josh. I said, can I pray for your knee? He goes, yeah. I said, your right knee? He goes, yeah, I tore my ACL. He goes, this is so weird. I said, all right, Father, thank you in Jesus' name. And his knee got on fire, and it went up his body, and his whole body got hot. And he goes, and he started to tear up. He goes,
Affy, like Stern, he probably takes it off at the end of the night.
thank you. I go, thank Jesus. He loves you so much, man. God loves you. I'm not a psychic. I'm just a son that knows his father. And he's like, so I said, you're a Christian? He goes, absolutely. Miss Sir, this is awesome. And I started to share my testimony. I did like a FaceTime or Facebook Live video just because I wanted to ask her.
The answer is PSP and their traditional Christianity, not these guys. The answer is no, but that's a entirely different subject.
How she felt. Then I started to share my testimony. I hung up and I started to share my testimony about being delivered from mass depression and bipolar stuff. And immediately her eyes rolled up into her head and she started to manifest. And a demon tried to grip
His mass depression was he married a fat broad and then started fucking his secretary.
her right there. And there's people in line, and it's just a hotel. And I said, honey, you just hang in there. I said, look at me. So she could hardly look at me. And I said, these voices are going to shut off. And there's evil and voices and the demonic, but it is no match for our King.
Yeah, sorry. I want to yell it. I want to yell, but I'll let it go through.
None. There is none like Jesus. And so the Holy Spirit went and kicked this thing out completely. And she's, I said, are you okay? Yeah. I said, you're okay. She goes, this is what she said. I have a lot of bad things in my house. I didn't tell her that. God did. You have a lot of things in your house that need to go. She goes, I need to get rid of them, don't I? I go, yeah. Like, well, listen, you need to go home and repent, clean your house, okay, girl? She said, I have a lot of bad things in my house and I need to get rid of them. They're no good. I go, that's awesome. So she gets radically delivered. Aaron, where are you? Stand up, wave your hands. Yay, Jesus!
Yeah, because that's what the Son of God would want.
Jesus! Jesus!
All right. I hate this fucking guy. Anyway, yeah, PSP. He pisses me off a lot too. And so here's my deal, man. I'm a hardcore atheist, and but I do think there's a place for religion. I think it works for a lot of people. But this isn't religion. This is just him being a charlatan. And I'm going to play, I have another clip of Darren Brown, who's an English illusionist. I don't know what we call him. And there's a million of these videos by a million different people, but this guy does it well, and just I'll show you what Todd. Oh, I don't actually have. Hold on one sec. Sorry, guys. Whoa, close. I've got the. I did. Where did it go? I had the video of. All right. Well, I'll just play the Darren video, and then if we have to, I have the thing with Todd White is he goes out on the streets, and he does this stuff, and oh, so we'll play this one first, and then because it explains it a little more than the other. But this guy is just detestable. So his story is like he's from Canada and was a drug addict and all this stuff, got married young, he had the wife, became a very famous preacher. He's known for kicking people in the stomach. He was a motorcycle gang member, and he used to have like the big fucking like boots, big docks, and he would kick people in the stomach, and they would move across the stage and they would be healed. And his wife, who was probably cute when she was young, got very chunky, and she had a knee problem, whatever. They were not the physically, neither one of them looked like this. They're both kind of fat. And in any event, she gets kind of beastly, and Todd moves on to something more and more. Hold on. Make sure I got the right video. Amazing leg. Watch.
In this country of people with having one leg just a little bit shorter than the other.
In every sense, I would say Todd White is as much a magician as he claims to be a man of God.
I would go around and look for people that were like limping with obvious sicknesses.
Is there any problems at all physically?
My back isn't the best.
And I'd go up to them and ask to pray for them.
They tell you your leg's shorter, your one leg shorter than the other one, and it throws your back out.
So this is the Holy Ghost film from 2014. This is a really great trick, and you're going to see in a moment here that it is a trick.
So what I'll do, regardless of what you believe, I'm going to pray for you, and Jesus is going to grow your leg out and heal your back.
Charlatans and snake oil salesmen have been doing this trick for decades. It's
okay. So the only reason why I showed that video was because I want you to see that guy. Because if I'm able to pull this off and do it in the future, that guy is probably one of the most interesting men in the world. So Justin Peters, he was born with cerebral palsy, from Mississippi, and a Bible-believing Christian from childhood. And this guy, as a youth, followed these people around wanting to get healed. And his story is amazing. Now, in the end, you would think that he's probably about 60 now, but you would think in the end he would turn into a complete atheist. But he actually became I'm going to say conservative, but I don't know that that's the right word, but a very traditional Christian, or a real Bible believing Christian, if that makes any sense. And like I said, I'm an atheist. So, but I admire people like this, because like a guy like Justin, because he put the pedal to the metal. He really did everything he could do. And he's really come to terms with his stuff. But let's get on to Darren, because Darren's the most interesting of all of these. And I'll thank Eckel, because Eckel actually turned me on to Darren Brown. Hold on. I'm going to get up, because he does a lot of shit, this guy. But let's go up here. I think it's 403 maybe. If you watch the first part of this, which is really interesting, the Darren Brown clip. In the beginning, he does. This guy is blind, and he does how these ministers can make it appear like the blind can see. But we'll go on to something else. This is it. 4:30.
Left leg, I command you grow. You can witness another popular miracle that faith healers often claim by typing street faith healer leg into YouTube. This impressive demonstration has been performed and filmed in a guerrilla style all over the world. I'm going to show you how this works with my co-writer Ian Sharkey, who genuinely has arthritis and back problems.
Started in my hips, has now moved into kind of top of my spine, my back, hands. There's always something somewhere that's kind of constantly in pain. You just, you live with it.
Classically, what spinal arthritis will do is it'll...
I want to say, Peter, I wish there was a way that I could answer you, like put up do this and then answer you on the main screen, but apparently there isn't. So let's just run through this.
Shrink as the muscles shrink. It'll shrink one of your legs back, which I think in your case it looks like it's on this side. Can I bring your legs out? Excuse me. Nathan, do you want to come and have a look at this? Oh yeah, that's a good couple of inches shorter. Can you see, Nathan, this leg here has shrunk a couple of inches. Can you see the difference between, if you look at the heels? So what we're going to do is we're going to heal the arthritis in your spine. Father, cast out that devil of arthritis and grow this leg. It's growing. I can feel that in my hand. I can feel this starting to grow. It's like the foot is, look, you can see it's coming down to the length of the other foot. Now you can feel that. Can you see this? Can you see that? That is, it's filling out. The calf is extending. The feet are now even. Those legs are now the same length. And you can feel that subside, yes?
Yeah.
Pain gone?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
absolutely.
Now stand up for me. Can you stand up? Run around. Let me see. Just.
Easy.
How's your spine feeling at the moment?
Fine.
Genuinely?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not making this up. The spine is fine. Your leg, you saw that happen, didn't you? You saw that leg extending. You saw it, yes? This is all based on something that I put a lot of emphasis on this foot here, but as is what will be pretty obvious to most people at home, whenever you see them do this on YouTube, there's always a point. They bring the legs up, then they ask for the camera to come in, and all that's happening at that point is they just loosen one shoe. Not the shoe we're all looking at, but the other shoe. All the trick is going to be is, while we're talking about this leg lengthening, I'm just moving this shoe, just sliding it back on the heel. It's a very old, classic faith healer trick. But there's all sorts of other things I can make it sound like I know this is going to hurt your hamstrings doing this for a while. So I can say to you, you can feel this pain, can't you? So why don't we do this? And I say, and that pain's gone, isn't it? I lower your legs. You honestly will say yes. Yeah. But you're talking about this hamstring pain because of this. It's nothing to do with your spinal pain.
Absolutely.
Likewise, when you stand up, you're not limping. There's no limping. Well, you weren't limping before. No one said you didn't say you were limping.
No.
You touch your toes, jump around. You could do those things anyway.
Absolutely.
We said earlier on you're in pain all the time, but it's not in your spine. It's all over the place. But I can say to you at the end of that, and your spine is, how's your spine feeling?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't hurting anyway.
Yeah.
It is the leg lengthening trick. It is absolutely the mark of a charlatan.
So, I've kind of hated churches for most of my life, and because of the scams, right? So, and you become this sort of hardcore atheist, and it's whatever. It's easy to be that. It's easy to not have belief. But these faith healers, they make me crazy, and they sucker people so badly. And the worst part is that they keep winning, So the thing about Todd White, when I said, they strike a lot. These guys, Todd White, Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen, all these guys, they strike the shit out of your videos if you try to put them up on YouTube. And but they also scrub the web. Todd White is not a good man, and he was thrown out of his ministry a few years ago, but he's a moneymaker. And so he got a couple of names, big names, a guy named Michael Brown. These guys to stick up for them. And when you go to the web today, which I did, I spent about an hour looking them up. You can't find any of the bad shit. It's literally like it's like his first marriage never happened. His problems with the church didn't occur. It is amazing how well they've wipe cleaned the internet. So I think the way they do it is by putting up content, and just driving all those numbers down. But I don't know if you guys found it interesting. I found it boring. I always say this. I love the live viewer count on the screen in StreamYard because it tells me live 41. I have 41 viewers, which to me is fantastic. But when I hover over the little eye, I find out that I have 35 on Twitter, which probably means none, and 6 on YouTube. So to the 6 of you that are here, I'll say thank you much. I'm at Buckman Schmuel on Twitter and at Schmuel_Buckman on YouTube. I promise to bring back Dave, so we'll have something more interesting. And it looks like my 45 minutes turned into an hour and a half. So not horrible, not horrible. And I will as well. But Peter, because you said that, let's fuck around a little bit. Let's see something. Da 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 da. I know Stuttering John does that, but that's like an old man's thing. Just da 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 da. We all do that. So I'll do this for 30 seconds just to be a dick. And I'm not. Da 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 da. The fuck.
For content by coming and hanging out with us on Sunday afternoons. It's a lovely time, folks. So if you don't,
whoops, sorry, kids,
to run out of the opportunity to do so after we go behind the paywall. So there you go. And don't you be telling me what to do, muttering. I see that. Leave it alone. No, we're doing it. We're doing it. Let's go ahead and end the poll question first. That'll give you enough time to consider getting yourself one of these.
Quad. What the hell's? Oh, still in my ear. Quad has 100 viewers, and he's wearing his. I think Jessica Flatcat gave him that. It's a blouse. I think he has to mirror the camera because it's on the chick side. The buttons. But that's it. Hey man, my buddy Nas is here. Hey Nas. Let me say Nas. Who else? I got PSP, I got Affy, and even those that dislike me, thank you for coming. And I'm gonna rock and roll out of here. I Quad and I think have probably the same audience. So, and if there were a battle for audience, I would lose and lose badly. Anyway, I'm now wide awake, so it's possible we might pull up a late night stream tonight. If anybody's interested, just hit me up on Twitter and let me know. I got some awesome Kenneth Copeland shit, and I want to do all this before I get monetized because otherwise they'll take me down. Good night.